Yo, hey, this shit easy, nigga. Hey, all I'm talking about, nigga, I'm still out here trying to get it.
Contender Regime Boxing checking back in with y'all, man. What's good? So, I'm pretty sure most of y'all have heard the rumors of Errol Spence and Derrick James potentially splitting. From what I've heard, it has something to do with the percentage of pay-per-view sales and, whatever agreement that Spence and James had or did not have ahead of his big fights that had pay-per-view revenue on the back end. And apparently Derrick James, I don't know if any of this has been officially confirmed, but apparently Derrick James have not been happy with what he's been getting paid from Errol Spence. It seems like Errol Spence has been paying him a flat fee, and they have kept this agreement all the way up until, even when Earl got to his biggest fights, the Mikey Garcias, the Dannys, the Ugas, the Terrence Crawford, you know. And I'm guessing from what I'm hearing is that percentage stayed the same, or that flat fee stayed the same. And Derrick James feels like, okay, well, since you elevating and you getting more bags and you getting, bigger back end checks, I should be getting a piece of that as well. Now, I'm pretty sure everybody got their own opinion on whether or not Earl is right or Derrick James is right. But we ain't here to talk about all the money shit. You feel what I'm saying? Let's talk about what's gonna happen if Errol Spence and Derrick James are actually done. If Derrick James is not gonna be Errol Spence's trainer anymore, what's the best fit for Errol Spence? Who would you say could actually add something to Errol Spence's game? They say you can't teach an old dog new tricks. Well, I believe that you can, at least help him sharpen up on some things that he already does well. So when you look at Derrick James and what he provides to fighters, I think Derrick James is a phenomenal coach. And I think Errol Spence is a phenomenal student. That's why for such a long time they were a match made in heaven, because you have a master of teaching and then you have a great student of the game who listens to his coach. And you're able to go out there and execute all of the things that you worked on in 8 and 10 weeks of a training camp, right? But sometimes things run their course. So when you look at Derrick James, what he provides is a very fundamental technical style and really sets a foundation for his fighters, something that they can always fall back on. What's that? High guard, good leverage, good pivot game, body work, great jab, consistent jab, high volume, toughness, things of that nature, things that can carry you over even when you haven't been working this hard, or even when a fighter that you're facing, might have a few things that you don't have. A lot of times these things can help you work over your opponent. You saw that in the Kell Brook fight where Errol Spence, Kell Brook had the speed advantage. Kell Brook had the foot movement advantage. But Earl was able to work him over with a steady jab and, good body work and good leverage on his shots and, a good high guard coming forward. You've seen that in many different cases with Errol Spence. You've seen Derrick James add, some improvements to Jermell Charlo's game. Jermell Charlo was trained by a very good coach in Ronnie Shields, and was a really good boxer, but got with Derrick James. Derrick James was able to add a little bit more foundational structure to his game, helped him sit down on his shots more, helped him focus on picking his shots better, and just being able to use his jab to set up his power shots. That's why you started to see more knockouts from Jermell Charlo. right? So these are the things that Derrick James have built into Errol Spence. And the question here is, what trainer can you think of that will be able to add on top of the foundation that Derrick James has already built? A couple of guys come to mind. I think of a Ben Davidson, just because I look at Ben Davidson as a high IQ guy that, that can really take it a step further when it comes to ring generalship and being able to control your opponent with distance and being patient, being able to make adjustments. Those are some of the things that I think Errol Spence can work on, because in the Terrence Crawford fight, you didn't really see no adjustments for real. He kept trying to do the same thing going forward, using his jab, trying to treat Terrence Crawford like he everybody else. And that's the problem when you run into a fighter of that caliber. You can't treat them like they everybody else. You can't just step to Terrence Crawford and think you just finna mow him down and shit. You can't do that, because Terrence Crawford got so much shit in his bag. He got so many different tools, man. It's like you step to the table with one thing, and he pull out some other shit out his bag, and now shit, you only brought this. You feel me? Whole time Terrence Crawford, he pulling other shit out his bag, and you like, damn, where this coming from? You feel me? So I think a guy like Ben Davidson would help Errol Spence, be able to add a little bit more to his game. Have Errol Spence moving a little bit more cerebral in the ring. And Errol Spence is a very intelligent fighter. He knows the game. He knows the sport. He knows the sweet signs. When you listen to him break down fights and just talk about boxing, a very intelligent fighter. But I think that it comes down to being able to actually translate that into the ring in your fights and be able to make those adjustments inside the fight. Now, sometimes you gonna fight somebody, they just better than you, bruh. So Errol Spence could have had anybody in this corner, and who's to say that the same results wouldn't have been what they was with Terrence Crawford? Sometimes, man, somebody just got your number, bruh. Sometimes motherfuckers just better than you, bruh. Period. So I'm not finna act like Derrick James was the reason that he lost to Terrence Crawford or anything like that. And Errol Spence got his own flaws, you feel me? And why he was in a position that he was, staying at 147 so long, not really living a fighter's lifestyle, you know what I'm saying? Not staying busy, taking tune-up fights, you feel what I'm saying? Always going straight to the smoke. Some of the greatest qualities of Errol Spence can also be a detriment. You feel what I'm saying? Because he's so headstrong and so much of a dog, so much of a killer that, he feel like he can be out the ring for 2 years and then go straight to fight Terrence Crawford. Like, you feel what I'm saying? That shit crazy. That's insane, man. Errol Spence is a psychopath. You feel what I mean? Like, the brother, he don't give a fuck. You feel me? And a lot, you seen that work to his success in a lot of fights, but in the Terrence Crawford fight, it was to his detriment. I think of a guy like Ben Davidson. I think of a guy like Bozy Ennis, working with the younger guys. He's working with Andy Cruz. Of course, he got Jerron Boots Ennis looking phenomenal. And you see how Jerron Ennis, the different things that he got in this game. Now, a lot of that is just natural God-given ability, athleticism, the uncanny instincts to be able to switch so seamlessly from orthodox to southpaw. A lot of that shit you can't teach, but a lot of that shit you can teach, and Bozy has instilled those things into Jerron Ennis. And then you got to take into consideration Jerron is a student of the game. So I think a guy like Bozy Ennis can add some things to Errol Spence's game. I like what Bozy is doing with Cruz. I like what he was doing with Ray Robinson, helping him sharpen up some shit. Y'all know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? The dude who got beat up by Yordenis Ugas, he had Ray Robinson looking decent, for a little bit of time. I like what he doing with I like when Bozy went into the camp with Bill Haney and Devin Haney for that Regis fight. You can tell that Bill Haney was soaking up a lot of game from Bozy Ennis. You feel what I'm saying? I think there's a few guys that you can bring in that can add something to Errol Spence's game. I saw an interview with Robert Garcia, the brother of Mikey Garcia, former world champion and a hell of a fucking trainer. You know, he was talking about how he would love to work with Errol Spence and how he would look at that as a challenge, and you know how he could add some things to Errol Spence's game. So it's a few different guys out there who I think could add some things to Errol Spence's game. Like I said, ain't nobody finna be able to come in and just drastically change what Errol Spence do. This man, 33 years old, about to be 34. If he hadn't already turned 34 this year, and he is who he is, bruh. That's not gonna change much, but I think there could be some small details that can help Errol Spence, go to another level, become a 2-division champion. It looks like he's gonna fight Fundora next for that WBC belt. And the way shit is looking at 154, there's a good chance that he'll run into Terrence Crawford again, because Crawford is about to go get that WBO. We know Jermell Charlo, I think he still holds the WBA. One of the brothers said that he was a champion in recess for the WBA. But all that really means is that, motherfucker, you ain't been doing shit with it. You still got that title, but until you come back and handle your business, you ain't the champ right now. You feel what I'm saying? But he's still in the mix. So the way 154 is looking, motherfuckers gonna have to see each other. You dig what I'm saying? And I'm interested to see who Errol Spence chooses to come into his corner, if he's indeed not going to be working with Derrick James anymore, and how he can add to what we've already seen over the course of Errol Spence's career. So y'all let me know what y'all think down in the comments. Who do you think would be a great fit for Errol Spence if he is not working with Derrick James anymore, man? Contender regime boxing. I'll holler at y'all boys, man.